the past few weeks, the Senate has been holding hearings on Trump's cabinet nominees. And the hearings have raised important questions about each of them. For instance, is Rex Tillerson too loyal to oil? Jeff Sessions, is he down with the brown? And will Ben Carson be good for the hood? You see, it's because it's hood we're trying to make anyway. But of all Trump's picks, none seem to be less prepared than the one we saw yesterday. Which brings us to our continuing segment, Profiles in Tremendousness.
I have the most dedicated people. I have the best people.
Meet Betsy DeVos, Trump's nominee for Secretary of Education. She's a billionaire businesswoman from Michigan. She's a major voice for conservative education reform. And, a lot of people don't know this, she's the co-founder of the 90s R&B group Belle Biv DeVos. Yeah. Yes, they had to kick her out because that girl was poison. But her illustrious history aside, the big question is Betsy DeVos qualified to lead the education departments? Well, yesterday, the Senate sat her down to test her on her knowledge of education stuff. And right away, you knew there was going to be a problem when she couldn't answer a simple yes or no question.
Do you think that schools that receive K-12 schools that receive government funding should meet the same accountability standards, equal accountability in any K-12 school or educational program that receives federal funding, whether public charter, or private?
I support accountability.
Equal accountability for all schools that receive federal funding.
I support accountability.
Okay, is that a yes or a no?
I support accountability.
Do you not want to answer my question?
I support accountability.
Sorry. I'm sorry. When I watched that, I had a flashback to every single time I called tech support. You know, we just keep saying the same thing. And it's just, accountability, I'm surprised Tim Kaine didn't start screaming, operator, I just want to talk to a human. Now, the reason Betsy's ducking that question is because she wants to take taxpayer money from public schools and send it to private schools without holding the private schools to the same standards, which means the taxpayer could be paying for schools with less qualified teachers, crappier curricula, weaker testing, and worse chicken nuggets in the cafeteria. Yeah, you know that off-brand where every once in a while you're like, oh, there's a crunch. I don't know why there's a crunchy thing in a nugget. You know those? Yeah. Now, one of Betsy DeVos's main jobs would be to improve student performance. Now, some say you should measure that by what students know, as in proficiency. Others say you should measure it by how much students improve, growth. Betsy DeVos, she says, what?
I would like your views on the relative advantage of doing assessments and using them to measure proficiency or to measure growth.
If I'm understanding your question correctly around proficiency, I would also correlate it to competency and mastery, so that each student is measured according to the advancement that they're making in each subject area.
Well, that's growth. That's not proficiency.
The proficiency is if they've reached a third grade level for reading, etc.
No, I'm talking about the debate between proficiency and growth. I was kind of surprised, well, I'm not that surprised, that you did not know this issue.
Dang. I would like to enter that shade into the record. Yeah, immediately after he said that, all the other senators were like, Okay. So Betsy did not do well on the verbal part of Franken's questioning. How did she do on the math?
You said that student debt has increased by 1,000% since
980% in 8 years.
I'm sorry?
980%.
That's just not so. It's increased 118% in the past 8 years.
Damn. Yo, can I ask a question? Why don't they ever fight back in these hearings? She should have just been like, oh yeah, I forgot to carry the one. She should just do that. I mean, but here's a question I have. How do you put this person in charge of America's education? It's like hiring an Amish person to run NASA. You know? All right, let's strap some of the horses to the space shuttle and take it to heaven. I don't even know if that was a good or bad Amish accent. No, I mean, it's not like they're gonna watch the show and complain, so I mean, I don't know. Did you see what Trevor Noah said? Me neither. So one of the hearing's most revealing moments was when Senator Chris Murphy, who represents Newtown, Connecticut, the site of the Sandy Hook shooting, he asked DeVos about guns in school.
You can't say definitively today that guns shouldn't be in schools?
Well, I will refer back to Senator Enzi and the school that he was talking about in Wapiti, Wyoming. I think probably there, I would imagine that there's probably a gun in the school to protect from potential grizzlies.
Get the out of here, man. Should schools have guns? And you say, yeah, they should have guns because maybe grizzly bears? Let me tell you something, and this is true. We called the school in Wyoming she's talking about, and a bear answered the phone. No, we called the school, and they told us that they don't have a gun because they have a fence and bear spray, and that works fine. Like, here's another question. Like, you're trying to justify having guns in school. What do you think there are more of in America? School shootings or school bear attacks? Huh? In fact, I would argue every school should have a bear to protect them from guns. That's what they should have. So after a day of hearings, we learned Betsy DeVos clearly has no clue about how to run the education department. So the question is, why is she being nominated in the first place?
Mrs. DeVos, there is a growing fear, I think, in this country that we are moving toward what some would call an oligarchic form of society. Would you be so kind as to tell us how much money your family has contributed to the Republican Party over the years?
I wish I could give you that number. I don't know.
I have heard the number was $200 million. Does that sound in the ballpark?
Collectively, between
over
my
the years,
entire
yes.
family, that's possible.
Do you think if your family has not made hundreds of millions of dollars of contributions to the Republican Party that you would be sitting here today?
Bunny! Bunny, we miss you, Bunny! Why didn't we listen, Bunny? Oh, Bunny. But he's right. She's gonna get confirmed, even though she failed everything. Every subject she got at the hearing failed, except Donations 101. And that's why I feel like this hearing was a perfect metaphor for the worst of the education system in America. Here's a student who's clearly not proficient in the required subject matter. But because of the system, we know they're still gonna get pushed through. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you liked that video, click here to subscribe. Just keep the mouse pointer away from my face, please. Don't, here, click here to, not my face, click here, please. Please, that looks, don't do that, that's sharp, click here to subscribe.